to perform today?
I think he threw the ball outstanding. You hold that lineup down for 6 innings and give up a solo home run. I mean, can't say enough. He's thrown the ball outstanding. Did exactly what we wanted him to do. Phenomenal job, phenomenal start. Had 78 pitches through 6 innings. Kept him off balance, all night really, except for the one home run. He left it out over the plate for that kid who's a strong kid, and he didn't miss it. But other than that, he threw the ball phenomenal.
How does the midweek game change the calculus with the pitching decisions, especially given kind of the trajectory to this point in the season?
We had everybody available tonight for the most part, so we went with Adam Tolick there in the 8th. You can't fault your guy for coming up to you yesterday and saying, "Coach, I want the rock tomorrow." If it's the right situation, feel free to use me. I'm ready to go. And it's his bullpen day today. Obviously, this is a pretty good team over there with Okie State. We had a chance to win that game. We're playing right with them with a thin lineup, and we're playing right with those guys. So we got the opportunity to win the game, and your horse tells you that he wants the rock. We go with him. And there were 3 out of 4 lefties right there that were matching up perfect for him. And we had a tough error there at first, and then a couple of walks, and it's like, oh boy, we gotta go back to with our in line was our closer that night. It was going to be Chase, so we figured the game needed to be won or lost at that moment, and the pitcher got us. So it didn't work out in our favor, but that was a tough one.
Coach, the bullpen has given up 37 runs in the first 8 games of the season. How do you plan on getting the bullpen to start getting outs quicker and getting off the mound quickly?
If I had the answer to that, we probably wouldn't be talking about it. What I would say is what I've said all along. We can't give up free bases. I don't care if you get lit up around the yard. It's better than giving up free bases. So if we give up free bases, we aren't very good. And that's one thing our starting pitchers thus far have been pretty dang good at, is not beating themselves. And when we've had success out of the pen, we haven't given up free bases. So I'll stick with that.
Coach, what do you tell Tyler or any of your other starters on nights like tonight when they have a good starting line and then your team loses the lead late, like to keep their heads up or something like that?
No, it's not about one individual. Tyler knows. I mean, he cares probably more about the fact that we didn't get the W as a team than his own personal accolades. And I'll say that for most of those guys in there. Like they want to win. This one was a tough one to swallow. They've all been tough to swallow, but what I will say about this team is I couldn't be prouder of the way they played tonight. Yeah, the score didn't come out in our favor, but when you have a center fielder that dislocates his shoulder and says, "I'm not coming out of this game, I'm staying in here and I'm playing for this team," when you have a Friday night starter that says, "I want the rock in the bullpen if I need it," you got 2 freshmen that are like, "Yeah, throw me in there." We got a couple guys that got sore arms that can't play today. They're ready to go. Like, I have no problem with the effort and the mentality and what those guys are doing out there. Those guys are busting their ass, every single one of them. And for me, yeah, the score sucks. We don't like coming out on a losing end. But the effort level and the mentality of those guys that played tonight, I'd go to work with those guys any day of the week.
And going off that, do you think that Joe and Sean, either of them will be available tomorrow?
I'm sorry, who?
Joe Lampy, is you expecting him to give him the start again tomorrow?
I would imagine he'll be a little sore tomorrow. But knowing Lamp, who knows? I mean, I had his name scratched off my lineup card, and he came back and said, "No, I'm not coming out of this game." So that's pretty dang impressive.
And then Sean McClain.
We'll see. He's got a sore arm. So, I mean, we'll see. I plan on going with my freshman tomorrow, probably.
How will Hunter's injury shape the month for you, and what do you think about Cam and where he's at? We are thin on options as far as the standpoint of we're going with who we have.
and we're confident in our freshmen that, hey, if this is your opportunity, you know, I mean, you're behind two kids that are returning guys that are pretty dang good. One's going to be out for a significant amount of time. The other one, I'm not sure. Opportunities are seldom exactly how you think they're going to be. So here's your chance to go out and compete. And the way those kids go out there and, you know, get thrown right into the fire into against a tough team like this and facing a pretty good pitcher, and you know, they weren't intimidated. They went out and played hard. So, you know, we're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way. It's going to happen. We're going to have some growing pains with, you know, with that, and it's going to happen. I understand that. Doesn't make the wins and losses any, you know, it doesn't make the losses, I guess, any easier. But, you know, the bottom line is when you start changing the mentality in these guys and they go out and are willing to compete for you, we're going to be okay in the long run. So, again, no problem with the effort. And, you know, again, the loss aside, very proud of this team tonight.
Connor continues to put together some really impressive at-bats. How can the younger guys in the offense that are maybe struggling, some guys like Ethan who might be pressing a little bit, really learn from his poise and his experience in that 3-hole?
You know, I mean, these guys are, again, the work ethic is not a problem around here. These guys work almost sometimes to a fault too hard. They want it so bad. Ethan's one of those guys that, you know, he wants to be successful for this team so bad that I think sometimes he tries too hard. He's going to get it. I mean, he is pressing, I think, a little bit right now, but he's close. It's a matter of time, I think, before he starts breaking through. His swings are getting closer. He's just lifting. There's a little bit of lift in there that I think we can get rid of, and he's going to be just fine. But, you know, Connor, shoot, right before the season started, everyone was kind of questioning, is Connor going to be okay? Because he wasn't swinging the bat all that well, and then the lights come on, and Connor's Connor. So, you know, it's one of those things. Hitting becomes contagious. It's a confidence thing. Once you start getting confidence rolling, things have a tendency to start taking shape. So that was one of the messages to these guys tonight is, hey, we've had some tough stinking losses in the past week. Don't let it sway your confidence. We're going to be okay. Keep grinding, and we're going to start coming out on top of these, and when we do, someone's going to pay.
Going back to Tyler for a second, as we get closer to conference play, do you see him maybe taking the Sunday spot or fitting somewhere into that weekend rotation?
We will certainly discuss that. You know, as we get closer right now, we're just trying to take a game at a time. And when we get to conference, we'll see what we feel is best at that time. But, you know, we have a lot of games up before conference gets here. We got important games prior to then.
Before the game began, you kind of huddled up the boys on the field. What was your message to them?
That's for me to know and them to know. So no offense, but there are some things within a team that need to be kept within a team, and that's one of them. So they're playing hard, and as long as they continue to play hard and without fear, good things are going to start happening. So I know it doesn't feel like it right now. It stings. It sucks. They don't like it. I don't like losing. They don't like losing, and this program doesn't like losing. I understand that, but we're going to get it right, and I'm confident in them that we're going to get it right. So we just got to keep grinding and keep faith.
Is it a tough balance at all between kind of pushing them or pressing on them versus loving them up in situations like this?
You know, our expectations are still high. Our expectations should always remain high. So even after a win, if we don't play well, I'm going to let them know about it. From a standpoint of, we don't need to accept mediocrity. That's not who we are. That's not what this program is about. But, you know, on the same token, when your guys are out there grinding as hard as they can and playing through injuries and, you know, things just aren't going your way, there's a time where you got to say, yeah, you put your arm around them and say, dude, you guys are busting your ass. Like, I can't ask for anything more. The results aren't there, but you guys are playing hard. And, you know, there's some things obviously we have to still clean up, but the effort level, the mentality tonight was the first time I saw, you know, with an exception of, you know, a few walks late in the game, the first time I started seeing our mentality start to shine through. Again, most people will probably question that because we lost. There's more to it than a loss tonight. I really believe that some guys showed some good toughness tonight and did not want to give in to those guys over there. So they weren't intimidated. They understand they can play with the best teams in the country. And tonight, just the score didn't go our favor. But if they play like that, with that type of mentality and effort level, I don't have problems.
How good was it to see Will come in the seventh and get that shut down and continue his great season so far?
You know, we're going to need him to continue to do that. So that's big. Obviously, he's a big piece of that bullpen. If he can continue to come in situations and get, you know, go through the teeth of their lineup and get big outs, that's why he's down there. So, you know, we have confidence in him. Hopefully, he continues to just keep getting outs.
Assuming Sean is healthy by this weekend, is he your best option at short with the freshman filling in at second?
We'll evaluate that when he's healthy.